Wolf here. Welcome to Game Face Monday. We are live. Hope everyone had a great weekend, and we're always very thankful for everyone to be tuning in, watching, and listening. As always, Mr. Richie Bello is sitting by my side digitally from somewhere out in the USA. And today we also have two special guests. That would be Dr. Doug Gabbard and Jeff Cohen from Cell Power Sport. We're going to be talking a little bit with them about how health is a little bit more important than you think when it comes to your job, and especially in a business like the automotive industry, which you could take a pretty good beating in if you're a salesperson running around in circles, 9 to 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. How you guys doing?
Good.
Wonderful. Great.
Great. Thanks to be here.
All right, awesome. And just going to jump out for 1 minute here to get a message from our sponsor, Shop Smart Autos.
Look what's happening at Shop Smart Autos. Now, your dealership can instantly access your SSA VIN retention reports, empowering your dealerships with the crucial data you need to retain and regain your customers. The power is in your hands. It's a simple process. Set up a quick account, log into your dashboard, and search for the dealership you want an SSA VIN retention report on. In just seconds, you'll generate the report you need. The report goes straight to your email in less than a minute, and it's also available in your dashboard. Now you have the data you need as often as every month to control this digital goldmine. Find out the VINs you held onto, the ones you lost, and where they went. Then win back your customers with Shop Smart Autos. Inspect what you expect.
All right. So, gentlemen, let's, whoever wants to jump up first, give us just a little bit about your backgrounds in broad strokes and how you got to where you are right now. Who's jumping? Dr. Doug.
Hey, graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic back in 1982, and I set up several practices in Northern Illinois, and got heavily involved in nutraceuticals in my practice, hired medical doctors. We had a unique practice in that I actually had a vascular lab and hired medical doctors to run that. And we were actually treating cardiovascular disease using more complementary medicine, kind of mixing traditional with complementary. And so doing blood studies, urine, computer analysis. This is back in the 80s, 90s. And we were pioneers back then. I mean, we were experimenting. We were using different natural elements to see what we could accomplish with that. From there, I went into working for a manufacturer that only catered to physicians around the country. They hired me to go around the Midwest and to train doctors on how to integrate natural medicine into their traditional practices. And so I have a lot of experience in manufacturing of nutraceuticals, both for humans and animals. And right now I'm in a consulting role for a very large company and just enjoying life. So
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Jeff, how about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, my world has been in marketing and involved in bringing products forward, whether it was products you take or products you buy for everyday life. And I got involved with Doug and Nutrisize, and we've been working on bringing forward this product, Cell Power Sport, which is a highly differentiated product to compared to the other products out there, like for energy and power for athletes and such.
Awesome. And so Richie, you have a firsthand experience with Cell Power Sport, right? You've had an unbelievable journey over the last few years. I've watched you drop around a couple of 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Turn around a lot of your numbers. The numbers are coming back better than ever. Tell us a little bit about your experience with Cell Power.
Well, what it's really have done is it creates more energy and more drive for you to have that discipline thing. It makes you stay longer at the gym,
Okay.
And it makes you feel much better, more positive. I mean, Arthur Early's been using it too for quite some time, and he always did fitness. He would say to the gym, but he would say 40 minutes or an hour before. Now he's spending an hour just doing the treadmill. Then he does weights. He spends 2 hours, 2.5 hours. He's actually enjoying it more.
Wow.
He doesn't know why. And as far as the muscle, his muscle mass, if you see Arthur, his muscle mass is huge.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's getting much more muscle mass, and I don't know if that has to do with the ingredients of it or what does it have to do with.
Right.
But it definitely gives you a lot of energy. And like you see me, right? I go and go, Lee. I don't stop, you know that.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that walking and all this and all that. I wouldn't be able to do all that. I mean, it's more than just enthusiasm. You know, you need discipline behind you.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
And it's and gentlemen, it's more about because I know in the beginning when I was first learning about self-power sport, I thought of it as like more of just an energy boost, but really it's like the overall performance, right? When you're in the gym, you're performing actually on a different level, not necessarily because of just feeling like you have 10 pounds of caffeine in you and you're just flying, right? It's like actually on a molecular level, right?
Yeah, let me jump in just to set the table. What Richie said is exactly it. Everybody uses it, whether you're an active lifestyle, whether you're a college or high school athlete, semi-pro or a weekend warrior, you're using it, and it's made to truly everything your cells need to play or to work.
Right.
It is providing you energized, for all sports. Now it's high energy peptides. Peptides is a big subject matter right now in the world. There are all different types of peptides, and I think there's misconception of peptides. Peptides are for just the bulk guys and everything like that. Those are injectable. Okay. And I'm going to let Dr. Doug talk more about why our peptide is a capsule, natural powder.
And these are rice based, right?
Yes, doctor, go ahead.
Yeah, I know when I was introduced to this product several years ago, they said it did all these wonderful things and it was made from brown rice. And they asked me if I wouldn't try the product on some of my patients. I remember the first guy I put on it, he was a type 2 diabetic. He was on 12 medications. He couldn't sleep. He was having headaches every day, joint pain. When his blood sugar dropped, he'd sweat and soak his clothes and have to change his clothes twice a day. A lot of problems. Put him on the product. I said, don't change anything. Just take the product. And which he did. About day 45, his world started to change. He got better energy. He was starting to sleep. His blood sugar was coming down. By day 90, he was off 11 of his 12 medications. I had never seen a single product do so many different things in the body. We were doing targeted nutrition where if you had this particular condition, we would formulate a product to address that and just target that particular condition. This was a product that seemed to help so many different things. And so that really intrigued me. And that's how I got involved with the product and the company and started to learn more about what they had. So you're right. These peptides, high energy peptides, have the ability to really increase energy at the cell level. We call it your cellular batteries. Most of us have cell phones, and you have to recharge that battery every day. In the human body, we do have batteries called mitochondria, and they need to be recharged at least 3 times a day. We call it breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And, these peptides, high energy peptides, probably recharge our cellular batteries better than anything that I've seen out there, and very quickly. And so, yes, we're able to increase function at the cellular level. But again, we're just made of peptides. Your hair, your skin, your bones, your hormones, all made of amino acids. And so we need to get a good supply of that on a daily basis in order to function at 100%.
Man, and Rich, that's the kind of feedback that you were getting too, right? Your doctors were kind of like, what the hell did you do? Right?
My doctor said to me, and remember, Lee, he wants to do a video with you. Remember that?
Right.
So my doctor says to me, what's interesting It's not just that you've lost the weight. What's interesting is that you reversed every disease that you've had: cholesterol, diabetes, which is the major couple of things. The one thing I'm still dealing with is blood pressure. Blood pressure has to do with my blood vessels because I'm a cigar smoker, okay? And with you sitting down, I'm trying to stand up as much as possible now. It helps with your blood vessels. You know, the cigars kill your blood vessels, period, right? And there's nothing really to rebuild it. So that's the only pill that I take is that.
Right.
That's it. But every other disease, cholesterol, diabetes, you know, all kinds of stuff I've had, you know, that really reversed it, you know. Like, you know, I'm a person that was in the hospital for quite some time with epilepsy and seizures and all that. You know, like my family, my parents, well, my father's not around, but when he was alive, he said, wow, and my sisters and all that stuff, you know. So, I mean, you know, it's serious. Like, I was really jammed up at one time. You know, I really had like a lot of problems, a lot of situations. But, you know, just trying to, you know, have a life coach. Like I have Jean as my life coach, you know. I have her as that, you know, and then Jeff comes in. And then it was 10X with that, you know. That's what it helped me. And the biggest thing is, like, you know, you got to take it, you know. I found out when I asked Jeff, how many should I take, 1 or 2? And he says 3, right? And I'm scaling it to 4 and 5. You know, it gives me a lot of energy. And it's good energy. It's natural energy. It's not energy that you crash either. You know, like you buy these things on 7-Eleven, that energy for 5 minutes you get, and you crash. You don't crash with this thing, you know? And like yesterday, right? So I go to the cigar parlor, and I have a lot of friends there. We all sit down, right? And it says, you know, Richie, age is just a number. I says, yes, you're right. Until you have to do what a 30-year-old does.
Right.
And it becomes more than a number. If you got to fly around, if you got to hit the road, if you got to go door to door, now you got a problem. Because a 30-year-old will outbeat you all the time. You're right. Age is just a number. If you're at an age like I am and I slow down a little bit, right? And I just hang out and I slow down and I work my, you know, my part-time jobs and all that, because, you know, it's different. Now, if you are doing the same thing that a 36-year-old is doing, then it ain't just a number. You feel it.
Right.
Okay. Right. If you got to walk in airports, if you got to carry baggage, if you got to move around, you know, you carry on your check-in bag and all that stuff, you know, then it's not the same. I don't care what they tell you. And that's where this thing comes in, because this thing gives you the energy. I always took energy stuff. Like everybody knows that I take vitamin drip, right? Right. The B12. But that's a whole different thing. That gives you energy, yes, but not the energy that you need. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, this is a pill that if you're an entrepreneur, you got to take it. I don't care if you're into fitness or not. Okay.
Right.
If you're an entrepreneur, right away, part of your handbook as an entrepreneur, start taking Cell Power.
Right.
And you're going to learn and grow, because it keeps you focused. It keeps you determined. You look at things a little different. I don't know. It just keeps you focused and determined. And of course, that's my perception. And it all depends who's using the product line.
Right.
You know, how good that product line is. Like, I'm going to talk about something else that has nothing to do with this. There's Kelly Blue Book and there's Black Book. Okay. For dealers, stay away from Black Book. Why? Because Black Book has a product line that's great, but it doesn't do the same thing as Kelly Blue Book. And 2 types of different companies too, by the way. You got Cox Automotive and you got Hirsch Communication. Oh, totally different. And I'm going to come up with a story of my experience, and it's only my perception on Hirsch Communication. Okay? I'm going to come up only what I feel that I should say, what my perception is, you know, about them. So anyway, talking about this is like, it helps you get more energy and more drive. And I don't know, when I met Jeff, he told me this thing, and, you know, I'm saying supplement. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? I got a friend named Danny that has a website that sells all kinds of supplements. For years, he's been telling me, try this, Richie, try that. And I've tried everything, and nothing really seems to work. this thing, maybe it's because I'm more focused now. I have a life coach and I'm in a different mindset too. So maybe that's helping me. But I mean, I call it like a miracle drug, like a miracle like supplement, because it really helped me out a lot.
I think that what you're talking about, if I may add, is athletes are all shapes and sizes. What they do, it could be as Richie is doing, or just think of all the athletes out there, parents that are hoping that their kid, give their kids every leg up to do their best, whether it's training, whether it's working out, getting ready for high school sports, getting ready for college sports, semi-pro, whether you're a female or a male, whether you're a female volleyball player or you're a male swimmer, it doesn't matter. Your body needs energy. Right? Your body needs, you remember the old, class in high school, biology 101? The biology teacher said, your body has these mitochondria in it. And everybody used to look at these funny looking jelly bean things.
Yeah.
Well, as Dr. Gabbert said, it's the most important thing in your body, that those mitochondria and mitochondrial health today is the topic that athletes and non-athletes are talking about, and how peptides working with your mitochondria will give you energy, which Richie has experienced, as we have other types of influencers and people around the world. In Richie's world, I've had the pleasure of being with him this past week with the automotive world. And as Richie said, they're not eating well. They're not slim and trim. They don't get a lot of sleep. And, maybe the automotive people need the energy. We know they do. Richie's talked to them about this. So Cell Power Sport, even though we're talking, sport athletes, it's for everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs energy, no matter what. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And Dr. Gabbert has done a lot of work with different people, especially in all these different ages, to prove that an all natural peptide, it's made out of rice and spirulina. There's nothing artificial. There's nothing manufactured. And, it is natural. So people are putting natural things in their body and getting results like Richie, energy and drive. Well, think about what that could be for other people that are looking to prove that they're better, whether it's business or whether they're better on the field as an athlete.
Yeah, it's interesting. My mother used to have pounds of spirulina in the cabinets when I was a kid. That was like a big thing I don't know why, but that key word, spirulina, I remember being a big deal. That's probably why she's still driving everyone crazy at her age. So what do you expect to see, doctor, if you have a total loss or a deficient amount of peptides in your system? What kind of things can go wrong?
The biggest thing we have right now is prediabetes, what they call insulin resistance. I would have to say that probably 80% of Americans are pre-diabetic and don't even know it.
Wow.
And because of the amount of sugar that we consume in our diet on a daily basis, what they don't realize is that sugar causes your cells to power down over time. That's why they call it insulin resistance, in the sense that the sugar that the cell uses to make energy is now closing the door to that, and that one source. Therefore, if you're not getting the sugar in the cell properly, the cell can't make energy. It can't power up to function. Okay. So we have a product that, Jeff is talking about peptides. We have a unique peptide. Our peptides actually have a natural sugar component attached to the peptide. That's the perfect fuel for the cell, because when the peptide comes to the cell recognizes that, pulls it right in along with that sugar, and all of a sudden, bam, it makes energy. And so we're able to power up the cell very quickly because of how unique these high energy peptides are and get the job done. And so, that's really what makes us different than most peptides on the market today, especially the artificial peptides that are coming out there. But again, as I look at the deficiencies in the American diet, I look at the amount of sugar that people are eating. Even kids are now showing signs of prediabetes at an early age. And so really, as I look at what is the main cause of disease or problems in America today, a lot of it gets tracked back to the sugar component, and therefore, diabetes or type 2 diabetes and prediabetes. The other thing is happening there is when your hemoglobin, I don't want to get too scientific here, but when you start inflaming the hemoglobin that carries oxygen to the cells, oxygen is another component that the mitochondria need to make energy. So when you start inflaming the hemoglobin where it can't carry oxygen or release it properly, the tissue starts starving, the muscles start starving for oxygen.
Right.
That's going to cause people to power down. You're going to lose concentration. You're not going to be able to perform as well. The endurance is not going to be there. The ability to rebuild, repair, regenerate is not going to be at 100%.
Right.
So again, a lot starts at the cell level. We know a lot of things in our diet that's interfering with that, sugar being one of them. And just the overall deficiencies and the quality of proteins. I look at the quality of proteins that athletes are using. They don't realize that a lot of those proteins have been damaged in the processing where they're using heat.
Yeah, it's like dog food. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So look at whey protein, you look at soy proteins, protein bars, protein shakes.
I got to add a little something. Doctor, you were mentioning diabetes. I suffer from diabetes. I did at one time pretty bad. And I did a lot of research. Diabetes, too, is also inflammation, right?
Yes.
That's what they're saying out there, right? Now, cell power, I noticed that before I was taking it, I had a lot of inflammation. My inflammation markers were a little bit high. Since I started, my inflammation markers have dropped. And also at the same time, my diabetes started getting reversed, right? So diabetes is a lot with sugar and it's part of an inflammation process that we have. And I know that as a fact is I have a partner that has really bad diabetes. And when he has it really, really bad, his inflammation is really high. His markers are so high, they got to put him in the hospital and give him these pills that are just really bad for you, right? So I've noticed that my ankles, before I started with this, my ankles used to hurt a lot. I would not be able to walk, like I broke them. I didn't feel it. That hasn't happened to me since that. So you're a doctor. You would know this better than me. Does that ingredient help with your inflammation?
Well, most people don't realize that peptides, you have like energy producing peptides. You have detoxification peptides. You've got anti-inflammatory peptides. Peptides create function in the body. So yes, these are things that can help your body function a lot better. The different systems of body, your nervous system, your musculoskeletal system, digestive system, reproductive system, all runs on energy, all runs on peptides. And so in order to reduce inflammation and repair, you need peptides to do that. And we supply that in this product in the right form, right combination, and they're high energy. Peptides are peptides, but when we say high energy, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a whole different game. Yeah,
it really is. One thing, Lee, is when you eat food, your body has to break that food down. I call it the digestive workout.
Sure.
And those nutrients make their way to the cell wall. A lot of those nutrients just don't get absorbed into the cell. They have to be transported into the cell. You have a transport system, and it runs on energy, ATP. Right. So if you don't get to your cell producing energy, you're not going to transport nutrients properly. I don't care what you're eating, how many supplements you're taking. You better fix that first and make sure that cell's prepared to grab those nutrients and do something with them. And it all starts with energy at the cell level. And this product can really help with that. See.
I think too that again, we're talking about this to multiple targets, sports, entrepreneurs, people that are working hard, running around, hard days and nights. Excuse me, but again, I go back to traveling around with Richie and looking at people. They're carrying a Red Bull. They're carrying energy drinks.
Right.
Athletes, the world has been promoted to that use these and you will do well.
Right.
And the problem is as we all know, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people still drink them. Richie, the people we were with this weekend and in Atlanta, they were drinking Red Bulls and C4s and all of the caffeine loaded sugar. And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, well, here's Cell Power. Like take this in lieu
and
of
they crash. Like when you take that, you crash. It's like a sugar thing, right? You crash.
Got it.
And Jeff, there's two types of entrepreneurs. There's these guys that start something like the Uber drivers. They're entrepreneurs. They buy the big XL and all that, and they make $2,500 a week, right? That's a salary, right? If you're an entrepreneur that you really want to have retained earnings, have all that kind of stuff, then it's a whole different game. I'm an entrepreneur that I'm not looking for basically a salary. If I wanted a salary, I go work for somebody else, right? And get a salary, and I don't have the stress level of the whole situation. So I've noticed, right, that, and maybe it's just me, that hormone that has to do with stress. I've noticed, as you got problems, it's an entrepreneur, you got things coming. You want to really, really check out if you have like a problem mentally. You really want to check it out. Start something that has to do with entrepreneurship. And start with limited money. You watch. If you could get stressed out, if you got problems with stress, it'll come up. Whatever problems you have mentally, it'll come right at you because it's hard. Real difficult sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can't put it together and you got to pay people. You got to do this and your cash flow, this, that, it's like, and getting revenue is hard, it's like a hard situation, right? Because it comes at you through life. Life itself has all this evolution. And, whatever you think that you want, when it comes to the entrepreneurial world, well, guess what? That ain't happening. That's not happening. Okay. Yeah. It's going to happen when it wants to happen. And that's what that helps you with, right? Because you have to be very focused. There's something called a distraction and an opportunity. The opportunity, if I go out to Lita and say, hey, Lee, I'm interested in doing business with you, that's an opportunity because I went to get it for. If you reach out to me and try to tell me, Rich, if you sell this, I'll give you this and I'll give you that, that's a distraction because I'm not focused on that, right? So that's what the thing is. So you got to be very careful. And this Cell Power keeps you at least focused. And we all need something focused, especially with everything coming at us, like in every direction. And, it's very difficult to run a business, let alone once people know what you're up to, they come at you all day long. They don't stop it. It doesn't stop until they get what they want. Right. That's the way it is. That's the human race. Yeah. So this Cell Power keeps you focused. It keeps you determined and keeps you disciplined. Look, I have discipline a long time. I'm a professional sales trainer. I have discipline a long time ago. But this helps you have more discipline. This helps you be more effective.
Yeah.
We because you don't feel, and I'm telling you, it had something to do with inflammation because my leg, I can move around like nothing. You see me, Jeff, you know me now for a while, and you've seen my evolution. You see me the first time I hardly could move. You saw me at the event. I was moving around like nothing, right?
Right. Yep.
Like Brandon, right? I don't know if you heard him on the speaker, right? He says, hey, Richie, could you do that? The cheerleaders that were doing
backflips.
You heard him, right?
Right.
He says, could you imagine, Richie, if we could do that? Leader, we're jumping up and down. He says, I can never do that. He tells me, Richie, if I do that, I fall right down. Could you do that? Then he asked the other guy next to me, and he says, none of us can do that. That he was saying that we hit an age and that's it,
Yeah.
And it's hard, It's very difficult to keep that same thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Rich is, it's interesting, doctor, because you were talking about how it and forgive me because I'm not a scientist, but you need some type of a sugar to make that bridge. Is that what it is? To get the nutrients to be absorbed? It was a sugar, right?
Well, the energy, the inside the cell, you have the mitochondria that generates the energy.
Right.
I like to call it the fountain of youth. The cell needs that energy in order to transport nutrients.
Right.
But anything that's going to help your cell make energy is going to help that transport system pull nutrients across the cell wall. Yeah.
Right, which could have a lot to do with what Rich's journey, because
Yeah.
I watched Rich for a few years now have 90% of his diet be lean meat, cucumbers, avocados, green salads, and he was eating all this stuff, but then adding that bridge or kicking into gear that transport system to convert that energy. What a difference. Yeah. See
You
that.
know, one of the
I
things,
think that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, one of the things I did is, without the company knowing it, I actually took it into a major university here in Wisconsin, and we bought some live animal cells, and we made a little student project out of it. And we wanted to prove that the product had the ability to increase ATP at the cellular level. And so we used the chemical of the firefly, luciferin, and we use that chemical because it emits light when it's stimulated. And that's exactly what happened when we started to feed these cells these high these high energy peptides. Boy, they lit right up. And
Wow.
the professors were like, "How in the world did you do that?" I said, "Well, at the time, I said, I'm not quite sure how we did that, but I was glad to see that happened, because it proved to me that the product had the ability to impact ATP at the cellular level."
Wow.
And when you do that, you have to realize that the mitochondria is the fountain of youth. And as we age, so does our mitochondria. So if we can maintain our mitochondria, create new mitochondria, and feed them correctly, you're going to do pretty good. You're going to do pretty well. You're going to age very slowly. And like Richie said, your concentration is going to be there. I've worked with a lot of people that have had dementia and other type of challenges when it comes to their mental capacity. And the brain's no different. It needs to produce energy. Those neurons have to produce energy to send the signal. And this product does it very well.
Awesome. Actually, Jeff, just before we take that point, if you don't mind, I'm just going to break away for 1 minute with a message from our sponsor.
Look what's happening at Shop Smart Autos. Now, we continue to show dealerships across the country how to retain their customers. But now, Shop Smart Autos wants to bring the new customers right to your showroom floor. The car they want? It's sitting on your lot. And Shop Smart Autos can bring you the VIN-specific leads that take them straight to your door. These aren't just leads. They're nurtured, targeted, and matched down to the exact vehicle. You'll sell more cars faster, and your team is going to thank you for it. Shop Smart Auto's VIN-specific leads. Let SSA show them the way to your showroom floor.
And Jeff, I know you were just about to make a point before I so rudely cut you off with a commercial.
Oh no, that was a great lead in. We came up with this idea of ignite the mitochondria. And the gentleman sitting here, Richie, is the poster child for Ignite the Myte. He's ignited his Myte and, has in his business side of the world and his personal health and wellness side. And we talk about health as wealth, right? If you don't have your health, you have nothing. Yeah. Young kids don't think about their health. They're just looking for the things that are necessary to do better today, right? We have a mission to offer this product to these kids that want to perform at the highest levels without occurring the dangers or some of the other problems that other products offer. So, as you can go to all these GNCs and all these other companies out there and buy the whey proteins and the creatine and the kratom and everything. But again, you're looking at issues. We had people that were in gyms and fitness centers that trained athletes, and they broke those athletes down into group A and B, the same trainers using A and Bs, excuse me. And they found that the groups using Cell Power Sport trained better than the groups that did not have it. They performed better. They were able to have more energy to play better and recover better. So this is not, back room, product. This is science-based, proven that the way that we have our polysaccharides or amino acids and everything that the doctor has perfected and tested works in the human body, no matter what size, shape of athlete you are. So we're just going to say that everybody's an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
They all come in different shapes and sizes. They're all looking to achieve certain things. And now that I have in my mind working with Richie, with the automotive industry, there's some people that are slender and energy and they're going like crazy. And then there's others that are not, right? Same thing. Certain athletes are prepared, certain athletes are not. Yeah. So if we can get the people, right now we're offering this for people to, take advantage, try it and see if it makes a difference. It did with Richie.
Yeah, and there's the offer right at the bottom of the screen. It's been up there for a while. And if you go to cell, CELL, then pwrsport.com, and you can use the code POWEROFF10, which is PWROFF10. You can grab yourself, it's 10% off.
Yes, sir.
Pretty cool. And Richie, speaking of being the poster child, so you and the doctor here, I believe we should hear some rumbling soon about pre-orders on a book.
Yes, so we have a book coming out, the doctor and myself. We did. I just went by my life experience and what happened to me in the past. I was kind of a little bit jammed up, I would say, a little bit ill, but, thanks to the man, our creator, because it wasn't me doing anything. Nobody's that strong. Thanks to him, because we're just all messengers, and thanks to him, it was okay. It became an experience that is good to share with others. So that way they pay attention. Right. So, and like Jeff said, your first wealth is your health. The problem with that is we have it when we're first born till 20, 25 or 30, and then stuff comes up, right? And we don't take care of it, and then that's a problem. Sure. So, and then it scales into diseases. With my experience, diseases work like you have a little something, and all of a sudden you got a problem. You become pre-diabetic, and you don't take the pill, and you say, Dad, this is nothing, this is bullshit. Before you know it, now you're full-blown diabetic, right? And it just goes up. I really think that your body has two armies, right? The one that fights for you and the one that starts attacking you to kill you, okay? So what you put in here, you're filling up the bad army with missiles, with intel stuff, with all that, and your army that's fighting it, you're disarming them. So guess who's going to win, right? Now, if you go the opposite way, you put all stuff in here like cell power, like superfoods, like avocados, like cucumbers, like all these things. Now you're giving ammo to the good army that's fighting for you. Now they have everything, and the other army that's trying to take you out, because they're really trying to take you out like salad. Okay, out. Then they're fighting. That's what I have in my head, but that's only in Richie's head. Richie's very creative sometimes, right? That's the one thing he's got in his head, right? I can get real creative real fast and real quick, and put something in my mind and make it into a mindset, and it's over, because once it's up here, it's locked in like a missile, man. It's locked in, and boom, it's locked, and that's what I do.
And the proceeds, though, Richie, from the book, proceeds are going to Soldier Angels, correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
The reason that I want to give it to Soldier Angels, and let me just share this, and I talked to the doctor and Jeff, because it's not about me making the decision, and we all agreed. What Soldier Angel is like this, right? So they have disabled vets, and that the longer you are not moving around, at least I learned that, not moving around and being active, you got problems. Then that bad army starts attacking you, right? Oh, ha, ha, ha. This guy's that movie. Watch this, right? So that kind of stuff. Let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. I'm at the airport, Atlanta airport, and you know how hard it is to walk there, right? I'm at the last gate at the end, the last gate. So a woman, I'm walking, and she says, "Sir, would you like a wheelchair?" And I says, "No, thank you." And she says, "Well, why not? It's not going to cost you anything." No, it's not about that. That it's very easy to jump on a wheelchair because I'm tired and not keep walking. I'm at gate 30, and I got to go to gate 1. And I tell her, but you know what? You need to say no to this and keep walking. You need to sacrifice yourself because at the end of the day, that's going to pay off. A lot of people don't have that mindset.
Yeah.
But it's for free. I said, that doesn't matter what the cost is. I'm not doing it because of that. I'm doing it because it's easy to do that. And then what do? Right. I know something as a professional. Shortcuts equal short deals, period.
Right.
Period. When you got to sell something to a customer and you're taking shortcuts, either you're over-promising and under-delivering and all that. The only thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to get short deals. Right. If you deal it with the hardware, with the customer telling you no about 20 times and you really wrapping it up long-term and telling them, listen, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't build microwave businesses. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. It could be a month or it could be 6 months. Maybe it could be a year. Who knows? And then deal with that objection. Oh, no, that's too long. I'm so glad you brought that up. So you mean to tell me you don't want to invest in your business? If you don't want to invest, why should I even try to do anything for you? Right? Mm-hmm. So there's an objection. Everything has an answer. Well, the same thing with that. Sell power, taking it 1 day, taking it 2 days. It's what I got off the phone with somebody that Jeff gave him sell power. There says, Richie, tell me. I says, you have to have the discipline to do it. I know this gentleman might do it or might not. You have to take it every day, just like weight, weight loss. I didn't lose this kind of weight overnight. Mm-hmm. So, it took me 2.5 or 3 years.
Yeah.
That's how long it takes. Also, for you to see any improvement, that's how long it takes. And right. Anything you do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you become rich overnight.
Yeah.
Well, I know how to become rich overnight, but I don't want to say it here. I know how to get money right away overnight. Bang.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, being an entrepreneur, you don't become overnight. It takes you years and years and years. I've been in the automotive sector 40 years. Yet now people look at me and it looks like much easier, right? But I've been 40 years. I mean, I got to be a reject if in 40 years I get nowhere in the automotive sector. It's 40 years. There's a lot of people that don't live that long, right? So it takes time, sacrifices, effort, and discipline. It's a whole thing. And it takes your mindset, you to put it on, because some days, it's just like an alcoholic. Some days you say, I need the bottle. Really? Take the bottle, and now you don't have that problem. Now you have 2 or 3 other problems.
Yeah.
Okay, then you got your family mad at you. Then you got a problem with a headache, with a hangover and that, and then you got another major problem. But you still are facing the same problem.
Right.
So it's discipline, but it's also having enough logic and common sense combination. Like that's the thing with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is great, but it has no logic and common sense.
Right.
All right. So you need logic and common sense and figure stuff out because, it's very hard to try to do anything.
Right.
For me, it's hard to tie my shoelace. I never had it easy in my life, ever. Mm-hmm. Never. For me, everything was hard to do in my entire life. It was never an easy thing. It was not like, oh, he's lucky. He's got it easy. No, it was always difficult for me to do anything. Maybe, I don't know why, but it just was. So it takes hard work. It takes a lot of discipline. And sometimes, stuff comes to you like that wheelchair came to me to make it easy for me. Like that's not something from God, Don't think that that's luck. You got to say to yourself, that's really somebody putting me together.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's making you weak by you jumping on there.
Right. Yeah. And I remember like in the 90s, same thing, the wheelchair in the 90s, to me, the example that you're giving, was, and I'm in complete agreement with the doctor here. Sugar was like forced down our throats. I remember in the 90s being a teenager and everything was fat is the enemy and low fat, sugary, refined garbage filled all the shelves. Even potato chips that said right on the bag may cause anal leakage, literally may cause anal leakage on the back of the bag. And people were just eating this stuff up. And it was like, and now everyone that I graduated from high school with, tons of them, first of all, died and are having all kinds of ailments that are just unreal. But we were the snack cookie, low fat, just garbage generation. I mean, I'm sure there was stuff around always, but I know my parents growing up were eating a little bit of meat, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We switched over to like, if you don't stay to the outside of the food store, you're dead. Basically, all the aisles are just filled with garbage. And yeah, I agree, Richie, 100%. It's what you put in your mouth, and then something like Cell Power to bridge those nutrients to your body. What a difference! What a difference that makes.
So, I never paid attention to what I ate. So I used to eat Doritos with one of Lee's kids, right? He turned me on to this thing. I used to have I didn't have two of them. He was like, I can't do anything light. Okay. If I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna eat like on the electric chair. If I'm gonna whatever I do, I gotta be crazy. If I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna smoke 10 cigars instead of one cigar. Okay. So I'm eating this bag and bag and bag. And, you know, my legs are getting swollen. And Lee says, Richie, let me point this out to you. Look at sodium. My blood pressure's in the moon. Is the highest blood pressure I ever had. 200 over 98, 100. What the hell's going on?
Right.
The sodium level that stuff has, I've never had it since he showed me that and identified to me that that's where the problem is. Well, I took care of it. Sometimes you need somebody to just identify to you. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know, but here's this. I'm the type of guy that I've always used to been having consultants around me my whole life as I was very young. So I'm the type of guy that I look at that. I said, oh, this is a problem. Because that sodium, it says per serving, it was 300 and something. Imagine I had one of those king size bags.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. Talk about sodium levels. Forget it. Yeah. So sometimes you have to be very careful. There's one of my guys, right? Tom Hearn told me that he saw something on television that they're making the plates and everything smaller portions. It's part of a process. It's part of a diet. So berries, instead of having the whole thing of berries, which I have, they have a little type of, place where you put the berries. And they're making everything now, instead of supersize for your health and wealth, be smaller. Right. So it's taking small portions. It's not taking those big portions no more. Now that makes sense because small portion plus eating right, plus fasting, plus doing all these things, everything together is when the things happen for you.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different thing, that you have those small portions and you eat right, and your wealth, is the first one is your health, man. If you don't have that, you cannot do anything. You can't start anything.
Absolutely. Mr. Cohen, Dr. Gabbert, anything else you would like to add about Cell Power before we wrap up the show?
I think that your level of function at the cellular level determines your level of health. If you think about that, disease starts to happen as your body starts to break down. It starts to lose function. Reggie talked on that about moving, keep moving. The body was made to move.
Right.
And when you stop, things start to break down. Cell Power Sports has the ability to keep that cell functioning at a higher level, which is only going to pay dividends. It's going to bring you up to a higher level of health. And that's really a big part of that product. And it does it better than anything that I've seen out there. You have to realize that I'm exposed to hundreds of formulas. People call on me, showing me product after product. And I've been in this for 40 years. I've seen a lot of products. I've got to say, I've never seen a product like this before. And that's why I'm on this show. This is why I think more people need to hear about this, because we can make a difference with this product. That's really what it's all about. I think that when you help somebody get over a health condition, and they come up to you later and they put their arm around you and say, "Thank you, you helped me. You saved my life."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will change. That'll change. Yeah, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. We're only on this ball of dirt for so long, so it's a huge thing.
Yeah, and I think that, if you can experience this power, cell power that athletes trust, as well as parents trust, as well as trainers and coaches trust, as well as like people that have used it now trust it, we're building the benefits and momentum. And, in this time of year, we're getting into the time of year where you're running, you're doing a lot. Why not try it? Why not try it? Give it a shot, and see what these key benefits are really significant. That that you could perform better, you can feel better, you could play better, and get back to the basics with the understanding that you're putting naturally done, natural ingredients, not harmful. And it's important enough to talk about this as a product, no matter who we're talking to today, whether it's automotive industry or friends of the automotive industry or families of the automotive industry or anybody for that matter that is going to watch this. But it's really, I looked at the people that we are involved with recently. Some of them look like these people behind us. Some of them look like me, right? It doesn't matter. It's both, it just, everybody is looking to get to a level of health and keep it there. And it's all based on their own mindset of how can I do it? Like you all talked about, Richie talked, don't take the wheelchair. The doctor said, take this and improve your health. It's a mindset. And we're hoping that we can be part that changes people's mindset no matter what age.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are well on your way with it. And I've seen it with Richie. I've been with him for years now, and I haven't seen him in this kind of shape in his entire journey with me. Yeah, and right now you guys can log on and use that 10% off. It's right at the bottom of the screen. And this show, of course, will go posted after the live here. So you can grab that coupon, get over to cellpowersport.com and use that. And then soon pre-orders are going to hit for the book, Ignite Your Myte, which is about Richie, his journey, and cell power and how it all came together, which Soldier Angels is going to benefit from, which is tremendous. Gentlemen, Jeff, Dr. Gabbard, Richie, thank you very much for the show today. I think it was a huge success and very informative. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here, Rich.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care now.
Take care.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening.